Hey, honey,
Yes, Barry?
let's get out of here.
Where are we going?
Where do we always go?
Fascina el viento, este ritmo de palmas, sin ti naturaleza, hasta encontrar la playa. Por eso grito al mundo, yo soy de Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta.
Hello, fellow travelers, and welcome to this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. I am your host, Barry Kessler. I'm just so happy to be introducing you to my favorite vacation destination. Maybe it's even yours, and that's Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. That music you're listening to is performed by Alberto Perez, and Mr. Perez is the owner of the Lapa Lapa group of restaurants here in Puerto Vallarta. Those are the Lapa Lapa, the El Dorado Beach Club, and at night the El Dorado transforms into the ever-so-romantic Vista Grill with dramatic views of the Los Muertos Pier all lit up at night in beautiful colors. And of course, at Lapa Lapa, you can enjoy that same view of the Los Muertos Pier all day long for breakfast, lunch, or dinner, seated with your toes in the sand right at the water's edge. It's so romantic. It's so Puerto Vallarta, my friends. This week, I'm bringing you a couple of listeners who came to the meet and greet at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse. Both of these guys are lovers of Puerto Vallarta. But first, let's see what's happening this week in Puerto Vallarta, the 15th of May, 2018. As I mentioned last week, Restaurant Week begins today, the 15th, goes all the way to June the 10th this year. And for a little history, Vallarta Lifestyles Publishing Group actually established Restaurant Week back in 2005. And of course, they have this annual event, this annual festival. It takes place now every year. They keep making it longer, from May 15th until June the 10th. And Restaurant Week basically features many of Puerto Vallarta's and Riviera Nayarit's most coveted restaurants. Participating establishments offer innovative three-course menus with 3 options available for each course. And since the prices are often discounted at up to 50%, dining out during Restaurant Week is not only more fun, but it's also much more affordable. Participating restaurants can choose to offer their special Restaurant Week menu at 269 pesos, 399, or 466 pesos per person. Remember, tips and beverages are not included in the price. I have a link to the directory of restaurants that are participating in the Restaurant Week from Vallarta Lifestyles magazine. I got a link there in the show notes for this episode. So if you want to see who's participating, go ahead and click on that link. And by the way, if you are walking down the street, all of the participants have a Restaurant Week banner hanging right outside. So really, you don't even have to do that. It's easy to find. The Down Vallarta BMX bike race took place on Sunday. And I've got lots of pictures of the event, and I took pictures of them doing the construction, building the ramps and bringing in trucks full of dirt. And I have some great pics from the event itself that I shot from the roof of the condo in the sky, that Airbnb that I stayed in. I was telling you about last week at $32 a night. Well, I got some pretty good shots from there, so check them out. And yeah, it was a great spot to watch all the action, both on Saturday for the trial runs and then again on Sunday for the real thing. I was talking with the master of ceremonies of the event a couple days earlier, and he gave me the wrong time. He gave me the wrong starting time, and listener Bill and his wife were going to come up and join me. But alas, I gave them the wrong start time, and they just couldn't get through all those crowds. So sorry, I'm so sorry, Bill. I still got beers chilling up here for you. Anyway, speaking of the condo in the sky, My lovely wife arrives tonight, and I am not going to make her climb those stairs. I'm not going to make her climb that stairway to heaven. Originally, I reserved that place up on Arroyo del Peligroso, not Peligroso, for the first 10 days of the trip, knowing that, I was going to make a decision whether or not it was going to be a good fit for Debbie. I mean, I could either extend the stay, but knowing that there were a lot of other choices out there, I just kept my options open. So after trying out that place, I realized, no, I was not going to make her climb all of those stairs and all of those steps. I'm going to put together a video of that. It won't be in the show notes for this week, but I'll try to do it next week, and I'll remind you to take a look then about what kind of path I took to climb from downtown all the way up to the condo in the sky. Hey, look, it was $32 a night. I'm cheap. What can I tell you? So anyway, I had to find another place, so I hit the Airbnb site real hard, and I found yet another place that had no reviews. But it was described as being on Playa Camarones, and the pictures clearly showed that it was right there on Playa Camarones with a big balcony looking right out at the ocean. And it looked pretty nice from the pictures, of course. The guy was actually giving the first 5 people that reserved a spot there a 20% discount. So I reserved the place for $191 for the 3 days. So it was like $63 a night. I know what you're saying. You're saying, Barry, you're splurging. $63 a night. Well, yeah. I mean, it's going to be. I'm going to go all out. It's my wedding anniversary, 30 years. So anyway, if you haven't used Airbnb, they don't tell you the exact address of the place or even the street name until you commit to it. So you're shown the approximate location. They kind of have a little area there that they show where it is, kind of. So anyway, the owner might even tell you. Sometimes they even tell you what street they are on before. But anyway, I pay for the place, and guess where it is? Yeah, it's above the Barracuda. It's right on Camarones Beach, right on top of the Barracuda. So right now the music is not unbearable. You can hear right now. I don't know if you can hear this or not, but the waves in the background. This is where I'm recording right now. So we'll find out. We're going to find out how it is at night. It might be miserable. I checked really to see what the hours of the Barracuda were after I found out where it was. And they don't open till 12 noon. And they close early on Tuesday and Wednesday night. Thursday, they're open till midnight, so it shouldn't be too bad. And I was told by the owner that the weekends are probably the worst because they have a DJ out there and stuff like that. So if you're planning on reserving this place, and I'll have information in the show notes for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show, you might consider, unless you're a partier and don't mind the boom, 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 during the week, it's probably not a bad place to stay. Now, I don't know what the prices are going to be as this place, gets a few reviews and people start looking at it closer. It'll probably go up. They usually do. But anyway, we'll see. I'm right in the middle of the Cinco de Diciembre neighborhood, so I'm going to have a great time wandering through there, maybe picking up some good tips for you guys. So like I said, I'll take pictures and stuff and junk like that, and I'll get back to you on this particular condo with our review. Now, Puerto Vallarta is getting ready for their 100th year anniversary. The big celebration's coming up. This is the celebration of when Puerto Vallarta became a municipality, when it turned from Las Peñas to Puerto Vallarta. And so that's going to be on May 31st, and the town is all abuzz with excitement as the date approaches. Now, actually, it's pretty busy here in town for it being in slow season. But Restaurant Week usually draws the crowds, usually draws the people, And of course, things will be filling up, I'm sure, for the celebration for the 100th year anniversary of Puerto Vallarta. Now, remember, I had a listener ask me about the ATM machines. And told me they were a little intimidating the last time he used them. And so I took some screenshots of the entire process. I have pics in the show notes, got pictures of the show notes, again, in this episode, and it describes the whole thing with arrows and describing this and that, all kinds of good stuff. So check those out if you happen to have, any desire to use the ATM machines and maybe you haven't done so yet. This will give you an idea of what the screens look like as they pop up, as you cycle through them. So check it out. Okay. Look, you guys, I'm in paradise, so that's enough of that. Let's just get on with the interview, shall we? I invited listeners last week and the week before to join me and JR at Kelly's Por Favor Cookhouse and Saloon, and that was last Tuesday. And there were lots of people there. It was a really nice crowd. It was nice to see all of you guys there. And, of course, I plied everybody with offers of T-shirts and a chance to pitch your business and all that other stuff and, tell us what you're doing in paradise. The usual. And two listeners actually stepped up to the plate. The first one is Marty Juel. He's from Indiana. And the second is Ian Tait. Now, Stephen Tenney and his band, Tequila Rush, they started playing downstairs. So we immediately took our equipment, ran upstairs to the patio lounge up there that I told you about. We set up our microphones, and we had a little chat. So let's get there right now. Let's hear from Marty and Ian. All right. I am at Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse, and I'm with Marty. Marty is a listener, and he came to the meet and greet. Thanks, Marty.
Glad to be here.
I want to ask you a couple questions. Now, you are you're not a full timer here. You come to Puerto Vallarta quite often, though. How often do you come?
Yeah, we come here on vacation twice a year in May and December, and this year we're coming an additional time in October for a Lions-sponsored Eyeglass mission.
Oh, right. Okay, so let's talk about that before we get in any further here. You are involved with the Lions Club. What do they do with eyeglasses?
Our program is not unique. Lions have been dedicating their mission towards vision for over 80 years, but what we do locally in our area of Indiana is that we collect used eyeglasses. We have a lot of boxes set up in several stores and facilities in the communities. Then we look at them and reprocess them, clean them, repair them, read the prescriptions, bag them, sort them, box them, and ship them down to a city in Mexico where we will be holding a mission. And then the local Lions Club in that city, or wherever that will be, will promote that mission for several days, usually between 4 and 5 days during a week. We'll send down about 15,000 pair of eyeglasses.
Whoa.
And we'll give away between 3,500 and 4,000. It's impossible to have a glass for every person, so we need to have a good variety so that we can match most of the people's needs.
Interesting. So I'm guessing that you probably have optometrists working for you or ophthalmologists working for you also that can tell what kind of prescriptions these are that you're getting?
Well, we usually bring 1 or 2 optometrists with us, but not for that reason. We are able, as Lions who are non-professionals like myself, we're able to do all of the diagnosing in terms of the prescription by using a machine, just like you would when you go to an optometrist. Okay. When you're over 40, that'll happen to you.
You're very nice.
Yeah, and we take that information, and then we will try to fit the prescription as best we can. The optometrist comes into play when we have some unusual situations, might be a disease, cataracts, or other things, that we can't diagnose and we can't really determine what's happening. So he helps us or she helps us with that situation. We bring a couple down, optometrists down. Sometimes we get 1 or 2 locally. So we do have professionals to help us in many situations.
Interesting. Okay, so you are coming to Puerto Vallarta, but you were saying earlier that you normally do these Lions Club missions, I guess you would call them, right?
Yeah. We've traditionally, for the last 20 years, we've had all of our work centered in the state of Guanajuato, near León. Several small towns there, Aguascalientes, Irapuato, a lot of small towns. They're not so small. Some of them are 800,000 people.
Yeah.
But this year we decided we wanted to come down here because I kind of favor the place. And we made friends with the people in the Lions Club just a couple blocks from here, and we talked to them, and they were interested, so we're putting it on here this year.
Now, I pass the Lions Club all the time when I'm here, and I look at that and I go, are they active? Are they active over here?
They're very active. They have a younger club. Probably most of them are under the age of 40, maybe 45. They've probably got about 40 members, and they own that huge building, which is inside of the block. It's a whole big block.
What do they do in that big building?
Well, a lot of it is rented out, quinceañeras and weddings and things like that. That's their source of income.
So they got a party hall going on there.
They do, yeah.
Okay, is it nice?
It's very nice in terms of what it's for. It's not something you and I would rent for a fancy banquet, but down here, the people don't look for that. They look for utility.
Yeah.
They want a large hall. They can put a band. They got bathrooms and a kitchen, and it's very nice for that. It's one of the nicer ones that we've seen.
Fantastic. All right, let's talk a little bit about your trips down here. I mean, how long have you been coming to Puerto Vallarta?
We've been coming down here for about 11 years. Prior to that, we've gone a couple other places, but we really kind of centered on Puerto Vallarta. We used to do cruises all the time, but cruises for us, they didn't get fun anymore, and they've added too many staff to the ships, and the service got bad, and the food was so routine.
Yeah.
And you're just a big number, and we didn't like it, so we started to come down here. And the first time we came down, we stayed at an all-inclusive, and I think the second time we came down, we stayed at an all-inclusive. We decided we really want to get out. That's okay if you just want to see what the town is like, but if you really want to be in the town, you got to live in the town. So we started coming down to Old Town here, and I got hooked on it. We've stayed at I think about 7 or 8 different places where we've kind of settled on a condo right over here on the beach.
Yeah, which one do you like?
Plaza Mar.
Plaza Mar, yeah, very cool. You said you went to a couple of all-inclusives. Do you remember what they were?
Of the other facilities?
Those first 2 that you went to.
Well, the first 2 was the Ola. I'm not sure. They used to call it the Ola Hotel.
Okay.
And the other was the Malia up by the marina. Very nice. Very nice place.
Yeah.
And we stayed at Playa Los Arcos. We didn't do it all-inclusive. We just stayed there, and that was nice because we found out that this is where all the action is.
Right over here on Olas Altas.
Oh, yeah.
It's a busy place, and you don't have to go far to get whatever you want.
No.
The beach, the party, the action, it's all here. Very cool. All right, so you said you stayed at 7 or other different places other than Plaza Mar. So what other places have you
they
seen?
were all private.
Oh, they were.
Yeah, there was a lady who had a home up on Rio Quali, right across that footbridge.
Yeah.
In fact, we stayed there the year they built that bridge, or rebuilt it, I guess. And that was on, Cuauhtémoc or something like that, kind of a weird new street.
Yeah.
And then we stayed at a couple private ones over here on Basilio Bedillo, about 5 or 6 blocks up on the other side of Insurgencia. And it was nice. It was quite a walk down here, and we really didn't have the view we wanted. So we came down here and rented a place, and we settled right down here.
Right, excellent. All right, so you're from Indiana.
Indiana.
And do you notice a lot of people from Indiana come down to Puerto Vallarta?
Not that we're aware of.
Okay.
I'm sure they are, but we don't meet them.
You don't run into them?
Nope.
Just all a bunch of Canadians and stuff like that. Okay, I get it. All right, so have you done anything like tours or anything that you can recommend?
We have done quite a few things. And we're kind of toured out. We don't need to do the tours anymore. We really enjoyed the zoo. It's a fabulous zoo. It's privately owned. It's a short, real cheap bus ride out there.
Right.
That was the Botanical Garden is a super place to go. Don't forget your bug spray. And
sure.
That was nice. And we've done a few other things. We went to Bucerias a couple times. That's a nice bus trip up there. And we went out to Las Marietas. We enjoyed that. Unfortunately, that when we were out there a couple years ago, the swimming area was closed, which was no big deal.
Of course. Well, it's the day that you chose.
Yeah. So I mean, it's we've seen a lot of places. We choose not to do much of that anymore. We just like to sit around and do nothing.
So that's what you do. I mean, your daily thing is maybe like go out for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, right?
No watch.
No, look at you. Look at you.
If we're hungry, we eat. If we're tired, we go to bed. That's about it.
Yeah. All right. So let's talk about eating. What are your favorite restaurants around here? You like breakfast?
We have so many that I would say I can't really tell you what the favorite. I mean,
don't you have one like that you just head right to when you come here?
Well, we like Bravo's. we always make sure we go to Bravo's. Freddie Toucans, we've always go to Freddie's. In fact, we told him, we heard him on your podcast, and he said, I was so nervous. He said, my English is not good. Well, his English is better than most of some of the people in the States, you know.
Absolutely right.
Yeah, but we try a lot of places. We don't just go to the same places all the time. We always try a few places.
Have you found any new ones that you recommend that you kind of fell in love with? Or
new ones for us? Well, we just went to No Way Jose for the first time the other night. We were surprised. Looking at it from the street, you don't understand that it's a nice place upstairs.
Yeah.
We thought it was a hole in the wall, but it's really a nice place.
Okay.
And the food is great. And we tried, there's a couple of burger places over here on Los Altos, which is nice. They're nice.
Yeah.
We really haven't found a place that's not good. We've only found places that we wouldn't recommend based on service. And that's unfortunate because that can change any day.
Of course, yeah.
And so I give them a second chance.
Good for you. All right, glad to hear that. What would you suggest to a first-time visitor? What would you recommend that they not miss?
Ignore anybody that comes up to you on the street and walk away and enjoy what you want to do. And don't let people intimidate you.
Excellent. All right, that's very good advice. All right. Is there something I've forgotten? Is there something else you wanted to add?
I could talk forever. My wife will tell you that give me a minute and I'll talk 10. I do a lot of public speaking, so.
Excellent.
But no, I think if people were to just come down here and enjoy it, and I think the big thing is not being afraid. People tell us, "Don't you fear going to Mexico?" And I said, "Yeah." I says, "My biggest fear is when we have to go to Chicago and pick up the airplane."
Uh-huh.
I said, "That's our biggest fear. There's more crime there than there is down here."
Right. Excellent. All right. Once again, you nailed it. All right, Marty. Well, hey, I want to thank you for coming, to this podcast, this walk-up podcast.
Well, thank you.
It's really nice.
Great. We enjoyed it.
Yep. All right. Back here at our favorite place, Kelly's Por Favor, Saloon and Cookhouse. We're sitting on the roof. And Stephen Tenney and his band Tequila Rush are whacking it out downstairs. I hope it's not going to overpower us too much here. I'm with my friend Ian. Ian, thanks for coming up and joining me here today.
Oh, pleasure to be here, Barry. Thanks for the invitation.
Tell me a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, and what was your path to Puerto Vallarta?
Well, I'm born and raised in East Vancouver, currently living in North Delta with my bride of 42 years, Pat. And my first experience in Puerto Vallarta was a young man of 19 back in 1972 with my best friend Dale and later my best man. And we just came down for a week, and it was an experience of a lifetime.
Wow, 1972. I mean, what was it like in 72?
Well, it was pretty rough in 1972. I remember that there was the river, and everybody seemed to be doing their laundry and using flat stones to their advantage. There was a public market just beyond that, and the hotel that we stayed at, I can't remember the name of it. I'll have to go home and look at my records. But there was a whole bunch of chickens in the backyard. So every morning, dutifully at 4 or 5 o'clock, the rooster would crow, and we'd get up and say, "It's another day."
Really? You did that as a teenager? You actually said, "Oh, let's get up. It's another day." You didn't really say that, did you?
Well, no, but this is on the interweb, and
right, you're right. This is a clean show.
And good manners preclude me from sharing what the experience was. But needless to say, we did go down to the market and get a couple of slingshots, but to no avail. It was a pretty wily rooster.
Yeah, they are. They all are, and they're omnipresent around here.
Absolutely. But it was the experience of a lifetime that's stuck with me to this day, and I remember it with fondness and with great affection. But to come back and find that that's still present in certain environs in the city is really, really neat too.
It's a relief, right? There are some things that never change.
Absolutely, absolutely.
So, when you came back the second time, were you still a teenager, or had you grown to a full-born man?
Well, interesting that travel BC before children is present, but while you have children, it sort of gets put on hiatus. So my wife and I have been traveling extensively since all three of our sons moved out from home. And Puerto Vallarta
by the way.
Pardon me?
Congratulations, by the way.
Thank you. And it's a favorite destination. We've only visited Mexico and experienced Mexico on the Pacific coast, so we haven't been to the other side. and we really don't have any inclination to. We enjoy it so much, especially Puerto Vallarta, but there's other places that we visited as well.
So when you come down here, how long do you stay? What kind of what is your stint?
Well, we like to stay a month. We plan on traveling in the shoulder season, so we came at the end of April and we'll be going back at the end of May. It's a little slower pace, a little warmer, so She Who Must Be Obeyed absolutely loves that. And it's still wonderful. It's nice and humid, which again she enjoys immensely, and it's just a complete state of relaxation 2 minutes after you get off the plane. Make that 2 minutes after you clear customs.
Right. You nailed that. So when you come down, do you have a condo? Do you stay in the same place every time, or do you sleep around?
We have several places. We go on the recommendations of friends. We have some friends that have a condo up in Bucerias where we've stayed. We have other places down in Puerto Vallarta where we've enjoyed, and we just decide based on what we'd like to experience, where we'd like to visit, and the places that have the amenities that we're looking for. And believe me, it's not much. I'm Scottish by nature, so shoulder season's a very frugal time for me.
Yeah, no doubt.
And we just enjoy it. We just enjoy it. Lots of walking.
Yeah. You got to bring comfortable shoes, as everybody knows. Anybody who listens to this, that's what you need to do. All right, so do you have any favorite breakfast places, lunch places, dinner places that you can share with us?
Absolutely. One of our favorite places for breakfast is Serrano's. Another one is Andalés. And there's so many to choose from. It's really an opportunity for us to look and see what recommendations have been made, especially on your blog and your Facebook page, which is Vallarta.
Well, yeah, VallartaInfo.com is JR's, and
right.
Mine is the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show.
There we go. Well, there's the two that people should be looking at for their recommendations. TripAdvisor is also a great thing. Google Maps also tells you how close you are to absolute enchantment on the culinary arts. But we enjoy eating Mexican food. We don't necessarily subscribe to Western dishes. We like, when we come here, it's all in, and we really do enjoy it.
Excellent. When you eat breakfast over at Serrano's,
yep.
What do you order?
Well, this morning I had a omelette con tocino y queso and cebolla. So for those people who don't speak Spanish, that's an omelet with bacon, cheese, and onion, and it was served with beans and with some fresh fruit and 2 different kinds of salsas on the side, and pan tostado or toast, 3 little pieces, all warmed in a basket with mantequilla sin sal, which is butter without salt, and mermelada de fresas, or strawberry jam, and it was absolutely delicious. And the price, again, appeals to my Scottish nature, and it was really, really tasty. Yeah. My wife is big on fresh fruit, but this morning decided to have a bagel with cheese and avocado, and it was absolutely delish.
Oh, it sounds yummy. So that is a very good thing to remember, everybody, and that is that breakfasts in Puerto Vallarta are extremely reasonable. Some of the more expensive restaurants that serve breakfast have really good deals on their breakfasts. I mean, you go to Lapa Lapa and actually eat fairly reasonably, and places like you're mentioning right now, over Serrano's, which is not the cheapest restaurant for lunch and dinner, but
right.
for breakfast, it sounds like it's quite a good.
Well, there's just one a couple of blocks up Olas Altas called Cougars, and the desayuno especial, the breakfast special, is only 65 pesos.
Yeah.
So, and it's amazing too. So the deals are to be had, and half the fun is looking.
Yeah.
And if you're prepared to do anywhere between 8,000 and 12,000 steps a day, according to Fitbit, you'll experience an awful lot.
Indeed. Favorite dinner place?
Favorite dinner place is Langostinos, as for Jorge. And there's been a couple of others, but Langostinos is one that sticks out on our memory. It's owned by a Canadian who also does a great job with rescue animals. So she's always looking for people to take rescue animals back to Canada. My son and his girlfriend were in Thailand recently for a month, and they brought back 5 dogs.
Really?
Yeah. So there was an organization there that put the whole thing together: the veterinarian certification, the crates, the airfare, and everything. And they were essentially mules for 5 beautiful dogs that found their forever home in Canada. Well, the same thing holds true here. So there's all sorts of social enterprises active that may not be apparent on the surface.
Right. I'm going to be seeking those people out. I think I'll head on over to Langostinos sometime and talk with them about that. And, of course, about Langostinos, because they have that great webcam, that we can watch. Swings around 360 degrees all day long. So that's kind of fun.
Really? So I can go watch myself eat dinner?
You can.
Oh,
I'll sit there and
thank you for
watch you eat
sharing.
dinner there, Ian, and talking about that. If you were going to leave Vallarta for a day trip, just to come back and just for a day trip, what would that be?
If I was to leave Vallarta for a day trip, well, we're doing that tomorrow.
Okay.
We're meeting a friend up in Bucerias. So we'll be taking one of the buses for 15 pesos for 2 people via Tunel to out in front of a large American big box store. It starts with W and has M in it. And then we'll be taking another bus all the way up to Bucerias and getting off at the side of the road and walking down and meeting somebody that we've known for about 4 years. Her name's Sally. And meeting at Karen's place, oddly enough owned by another Canadian. And then we'll be taking the bus back. And we enjoy the opportunity to interact with residents and visitors alike. And every chance we do, we have an opportunity to use Spanish, however fractured it might be, but the intention and the goodwill is there, and say things with a smile, and it really, really works. And I love meeting local people and just saying, hello, how are you? And then saying, no sé, when they let out a stream of Spanish afterwards.
It's like,
But that's half the fun.
He's answering me. Look out. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, exactly.
What kind of advice would you give to a first-time visitor to Puerto Vallarta?
Don't worry about the water. This community has received international awards for the purity and quality of its water for years and years. I think it's like 21 years. Pack light. Check an app to see what the weather is going to be like, and bring the appropriate wear. SPF 8000 if you haven't seen a lot of sun. SPF 20 if you're on the edge. Be prepared to walk and be prepared to have a great experience. There's lots to discover. Don't think you're going to do it on the first day. So it's a race. It's a marathon, not a race. And that's what we've found by staying for an extended period of time. We get a chance to go out and visit all these interesting spots and just stop on a corner and enjoy a taco and find out later what lingua and tripa and other words mean in terms of the contents of a taco, which I have no problem eating, and your viewers can Google lingua and tripa to find out exactly what that is.
That's right. All right. Well, most of my listeners, they know what that stuff is. Well,
Yeah.
I shouldn't say, they're
Yep.
half and half.
Yep.
All right. So speaking of like taco stand fare and food,
Yep.
let's not talk about taco stands. How about a hole in the wall? I mean, the place that looks like it could be nothing, and then you walk in and the food just wows you. Anything like that you can think of?
Well, there's been a couple that literally have been on the side of the road, and they either have 2 rows of 5 chairs each, or a wooden bench that you sit on, and people wait until you leave, and it's just a marvelous way to experience it all. And there's salsas that'll blow your head off, and you just ask for the one that you like, or try a little bit first. There's always a big big hint there.
It's the test taco. You
Yeah,
take
the
one
test taco.
and you put this. You go through it and put a
Yep.
little spoonful on each.
Yep.
And then you test which one you like the best.
Absolutely. And I always it's like Chinese food restaurants back home. I always go where I'm the only Caucasian person there. Well, it's the same thing here. If there is not a gringo there, or a Nordamericano, or whatever, then that's the place I want to go to, because the local people think it's that good to patronize it.
And you're Scottish.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really Scottish. No, and we haven't had we've always been pleasantly surprised. We have not had a negative experience, and coming or going, if you get my drift.
Yeah.
Because it's people's reputation. It's their business. It's their pride in the product that they're serving, and it doesn't matter if it's 4 benches on the side of the road or a big establishment or a big feast hall. It's going to be the same. People take pride in what they do, and they want you to have a good experience too.
Yeah, no doubt about that. Well, this has been really good talking to you. Is there something I've forgotten, Ian? Is there something that you wanted to add while we're talking today?
I would just like to wish my cousin Dawn and Shelley a very, very happy exchanging of vows that occurred a couple of days ago. They'll be listening to this, and they're big participants at meet and greets such as tonight at Puerto Vallarta, which we've enjoyed for the very, very first time. So there's a special greeting on Facebook that they'll see soon, but love them both dearly, and look forward to celebrating and sharing with them when we get back home.
Ian, you're such a nice guy. Look at you, man. All right. Well, thank you. Thanks so much for joining us, and thanks for sharing your knowledge of Puerto Vallarta with my listeners.
Oh, such that it is, yeah. And thank you very much for the opportunity to share. I really do appreciate it. It's been great meeting you.
All right. Well, thank you guys. You guys were great. Weren't they terrific? They have... Never mind. All right. I have links to that Eyeglass program, that Eyeglass exchange that Marty was talking about. And what a great opportunity to get involved, helping out right here in Puerto Vallarta. So good on you, Marty, and good on you, Lions Club. I mean, wow. I have pictures of the outside of the Lions Club here in Puerto Vallarta, and Marty's going to send me some pics of the inside of the place. So hopefully I'll have those in the show notes to show you. I've always wondered about that place. I always walked by and, wondered what was inside. And look, if you have plans to rent out a large facility while you're in town, check out the pics for sure. You never know. And Ian, I love Ian's voice. He's got this great attitude too. And both these guys are, you know what? They're a lot of fun, and they're really just typical the kinds of people that you're going to meet in paradise. There's tons of people like Ian and Marty right here in Puerto Vallarta. People that spend lots of time here, and you'll find them in bars, and you'll find them on the beach, and you'll find them in restaurants. And, these people are just full of information, just full of it. Okay, so anyway, thanks, you guys. I really, really appreciate you coming on the show. Wear your T-shirts proudly, boys, really. Okay. All right, well, that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico, right on Camarones Beach. Next week, stay tuned for more on-the-ground reports from Puerto Vallarta with travel tips, great restaurant and excursion ideas, and more. But until then, remember, this is an interactive show where I depend on your questions and suggestions about all things Puerto Vallarta. If you think of something that I should be talking about, then reach out to me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending me your message. And remember, if you're considering booking any type of tour while you're in Puerto Vallarta, you must go to vallartainfo.com, that's JR's website, and reserve your tour through him right from his website. Remember, this is a value-for-value proposition, my friends. His experience and on-the-ground knowledge of everything Puerto Vallarta in exchange for your making a purchase of a tour that you do anyway. You're just doing it through him as a way of saying thank you. Thanks, JR, for being our guide. It costs no more than if you're going to use someone else, so just do it, really. And when you do take one of those tours, email me about your experiences. Maybe you can come on board and share with others what you liked or didn't like about the tour. Again, contact me by clicking on the Contact Us tab and sending off a message. And don't forget, JR's got his DIY maps, he's got his tours, he's got his revitalized happy hour board, and more. And I have links to all of those in the show notes for every show. They're all over the website. And once again, if you like this podcast, please take the time and subscribe and give me a good review on iTunes if you would. That way we can get the word out to more and more people about the magic of this place, Puerto Vallarta, Mexico. And remember, I made it easy for you to do just that with every episode I create. But if you haven't been to my website, you really need to have a look there. Links to the places that we talk about, interesting pictures, and more right there in each and every blog post for each show that I create. So check them out, all right? All right, so thank you, Marty, Juel, and Ian Tait for coming down to Kelly's Por Favor Saloon and Cookhouse for that meet and greet. Thanks for sitting for that interview. Remember, you guys, check out that Eyeglass exchange that the Lions Club does. It's really cool. All right, that should do it for this episode of the Puerto Vallarta Travel Show. This is Barry Kessler signing off with a wish for all of you to slow down, be kind, and live the Vallarta lifestyle. Nos vemos, amigos.
Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Solo camino interno por la playa, me encuentro junto al río cuando todo está en calma. Pronto cae la noche, me brillas Puerto Vallarta. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de arrullo en el mar. Samba de Puerto Vallarta, noche de amor junto al mar. Oh, samba de Puerto Vallarta.